YouTube, how are you going, YouTube? Warbles on a lot here on the 25th of May 2013. 2 years since my daughter bookmarked the channel onto this mobile phone. And this morning I noticed that there were 601 subscribers, up from 599 yesterday morning. So, thank you to the 601 people on planet Mudball 3 who like my stuff or hate my stuff enough that you've got your computer set up that when I upload a movie you get notified. Thanks to the people who actually follow and watch all the movies. And there are a couple who've watched all of them. And there's even one bloke, how you going, Pete? I won't dob you in by username. But when I had about 750 movies, Pete decided to tell me that he'd subscribed, and this meant that, as is his habit, he's going to have to watch all the movies on my scroll starting at the first one, and he thought it was going to take him a week. And I thought, well, my average clip length is probably a bit over 10 minutes. It could be taking him a week of 24-hour days. So I'm kind of awestruck by some people's dedication to YouTube. I merely start checking the channel at sunrise and sometimes don't stop doing it till midnight. But I'm flat out answering comments and what I call inbox blossom. I haven't actually looked at much for a couple of days because I've had such a throbbing inbox. But anyway, that's all to the good. This morning there was one tiny little fly in the ointment. I mean, I've nearly got 150,000 total views showing on the counter on my homepage. But I always make a habit of checking how many views there are on my daughter's post of the first movie I put on YouTube, which is called The SunFoils Project. It's a 15-minute movie, and she put it up there for my 50th birthday. After 6 weeks or so, when she had 600 hits, she got sick of having it there, so she bookmarked this channel. But her channel used to be called @Bulb Powder, and I noticed today that it was called @Bulb Powder's Channel. So there's been a change there. She doesn't spend much time on YouTube, so I don't know whether she's done it or whether YouTube's done it. Then I noticed that on the scroll above it, one of my movies about solar thermal ramjet effect, with regards to SunFoils, it was posted by Chris Wharton, and the name Warbles on a Lot was nowhere showing there. So I rapidly scrolled up and down all across the movies that show up on the title search of SunFoils, and it seems pretty random, but maybe half of my movies that show up when you search SunFoils, instead of saying they're made by Warbles on a Lot, it says they're made by Chris Wharton. If it had only happened to me, I might develop some elaborate paranoid hypothesis involving oil companies and conspiracies to stop the SunFoils project from gaining any snowball effect from 2 years of being promoted on Warbles on a Lot channel. However, it's not happening just to me. One of the antinatalist ethalists by the name of Derived Energy suddenly had his channel name changed to Neville, something like 5-6 weeks after he went to jail in Indonesia. Well, I didn't go to jail in Indonesia, and my channel is in the process, it seems, of changing from Warbles on a Lot to Chris Wharton. I didn't authorise it. There was, for a while, a bit of a theory that anybody who acquired a Google Plus account, automatically their YouTube channel got put into their real name. But I don't have Google Plus. I don't even have a computer. I don't get emails. I don't have a PayPal account. Apart from YouTube on a mobile phone, I'm not actually on the net. I'm post-industrial neo-Luddite, sort of eagerly awaiting the implosion of techno-fascist industrial barbarianism, which I've seen coming for 40 years, possibly that long. I've really had me doubts about it since I was about 6 years old, and my father was standing beside Parramatta Road in Sydney, and he was watching 3 lanes of cars coming towards him, and he watched them for a couple of minutes and started shaking his head and making oh dear noises. And I said to him, "What's the problem, Dad?" And he said, "Well, I'm just looking at all of them cars and wondering how big the holes in the ground are." And I said, "What holes in the ground, Daddy?" You know, like I said, I was 6 at the time, so we're talking 1967. And he said, "Well, there's got to be a hole in the ground where they dig out the iron ore to smelt the steel, and there's got to be another hole in the ground somewhere else where they dig out the coal to make the fire to smelt the steel. And then there's another hole somewhere else entirely where the oil's coming from, not only to make the petrol to drive them, but to make the tyres they're driving on." And he said, "I'm wondering how big the hole in the ground is to make all of them cars that are coming across the horizon in an endless row." So I've been thinking about it, you know, the consequences of economic growth for a long time. So I don't mind being a post-industrial neo-Luddite, because I think a lot of the high energy technology is going to go away, and I didn't want to get hooked on it, so to speak. Not hooked on it so bad that I couldn't go back to trying to live like a blackfella if ever I had to. But that's a project I've spent the last, 22 years working on. Anyway, them's the breaks. It's happy birthday for Warbles On A Lot channel, 2 years to the day today. 601 subscribers, 150,000 odd total views. And actually, to be honest, it's not 150,000, it's 149,952. And it's going up at sort of 300 to 500 a day at the moment across the entire scroll. But anyway, this is what's happening on the title search for SunFoil. I'm still showing as Warbles On A Lot at the top of my own page, but we've got the government approved SunFoil project is showing as Warbles On A Lot there when you click on to have a look at the movie. But if you go back to the scroll of movies about SunFoils, we've got SunFoil Mark 7, Wired Up, SunFoils and Main Department of Transport Highway Authority. That's by Warbles On A Lot. Absolute Bullshit Content Ad in Mendham versus the SunFoil Project, 15th clip, is by Chris Wharton. Diesel SunFoils 24 volt owner interview, Mark 5 thermal expansion fire captain's map, is by Chris Wharton. There's one there by what they call the SunFoil Dolphins, which is a cricket team in Sri Lanka. SunFoil Construction Series 2 by Dave Reed. SunFoil Construction Series 1 by Dave Reed. How you going, Dave, down there in Canberra? SunFoil enters Desert Files HHO Fuel Efficiency Challenge by Warbles On A Lot. 40 watt minimalist SunFoil by Warbles On A Lot. The government approved SunFoil project is by Chris Wharton. So somewhere between the movie title search where it says it's Chris Wharton, and that's something new that's only happened today as far as I know, and then when you get to the movie it still says that the movie's done by Warbles On A Lot. So it's a part-way window into the hack. It hasn't finished happening yet. So, here I sit, the fool on the hill, the mad scientist on an endangered species sanctuary, and somebody's fiddling with my YouTube channel. I suspect it's the Googoyles, But maybe not. Maybe it's the homeland insecurity industry. Maybe I've got an enemy out there who's decided that I need to have my channel name changed. Maybe somebody just wants to rock my boat. I don't know. But on balance, I can't do much about it. I'll go and tell YouTube through their feedback system that I don't like it. But I'm happy with 601 subs and 150,000 views. And I suspect there's about 300 people around the world who've got SunFoils on their cars. So I don't think it's been 2 years wasted. And shout out to all of the friends that I regularly interact with on the comment threads and make movies to back and forth. Conference Report Fred, Laura Leela, Kathy, Richard Mann, who's refried bean dip, and sometimes he's Vildar Silverfist, Earl Portland, Magna 59, Desert File, Tom Canate 2 and Tom Canate, both of him. Funny bloke. And all the people. There's too many of you to rattle off the top of my head because, you know, I have a bit of a pipe-driven forgettery from time to time, especially with short-term memory issues. Occupational hazard. So, Warbles on a lot, or maybe it's Chris Wharton, who knows, YouTube is changing things. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Thanks for being along for the ride, and let's see how much further it goes. Ciao.